This is class 14. Today is April 21st, 2016.
Go get a mentality.
Yeah, he committed his code, pushed it up to the repo. It's there. Rooms are there.
Wait, did you actually commit and push up to the project?
It was like when you were getting
cool.
coffee or
Well,
something.
It's there, man.
We'll look at it.
Oh, great. It's very expensive.
Well, let's take a look at this magical gem of gemness. Get it?
Gemness.
Ruby, gems, jewel.
Alright.
Alright. Let's see.
You're in it, people.
Oh man. Oh god. Oh god.
Oh.
Oh why? No, actually that didn't look bad at all.
Oh, good.
Cool. Is it gonna hurt your feelings if like stuff gets changed? Good.
Good.
No, it won't.
No, that's a well
long
done
as
class.
it's not that
It's
disturbing.
organized.
Yeah.
You even put a comment in there. I was gonna mention that tonight because y'all are working together and will be stepping on each other's feet. It'd be nice to document some of your code for your fellow developers.
So you said the entrance and the exit; those are for
Triggers.
firing like events.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And until we actually get those figured out what those events and stuff are, having variables there that show flags being tripped is a great way of helping us test that. So that's a good idea.
I didn't understand how they're all gonna relate to each other though, like spatially.
That's okay. That's okay. That's why I told y'all not to worry about the spatial interactions and stuff yet, because we'll talk about exits and exit code tonight, because I actually have a.
I suppose you would still have to map something out even though it is a text-based game, because you have to conceptualize an environment.
No, not really.
Well,
Yeah, there's a simpler way of doing it than that. You can do a map-based approach, but you don't have to. And anyway, we're gonna take an easier approach to it than that.
you mean like a randomized
No.
generator?
That's the other way. That's harder.
Would it be worth it to play through Zork?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not
That's
making this work.
that's gonna keep you
specifically.
from writing code.
Yeah, I'd rather you plans. Oh, well, what I have done is, and I might show you an example of it tonight. I stopped working today at about 4, and until 5 just started doing some speculative development on the project. None of it's gonna be in this repo, so y'all can't cheat. But to give you an idea about what the code would look like and stuff like that, I've completed the features that y'all are working on right now. So there's rooms, you can move from room to room. I put in some basic NPC functionality and stuff like that. Just kind of give an idea of maybe an aim, a direction that always helps. So, but I kind of don't want it to be designed exactly the way I did it, because then that'd be boring and y'all wouldn't have done it. So, kind of defeats the purpose.
You could call the game Slack Quest.
Slack quest.
Yeah.
Did you think?
Be a very lazy quest.
What else was in your room?
I'm not gonna tell you. Go try it. You'll see. You'll probably be able to guess. Okay. But the game doesn't have to be the same. Is the thing. This is y'all's thing. Y'all can literally do whatever you want with it. I really liked the lighting idea you came up with. That's a pretty cool idea.
That would be fun.
That would be fun, and it would lend well to the whole adventure aspect to it. You know.
Like some rooms could be lit with like a skylight. Otherwise, you might need a torch in other rooms.
Well, what we kind of talked about in there was if we do end up having stats for characters, like character rolled stats, there might be a vision one. And depending on how high your vision is, when you look at the room, when you do look to see the room description, you might miss details because it's not included in the description text.
Like how visible an item is in the
Right,
room.
that kind of thing. And if we get to items, you could have like a torch or a flashlight or something like that that would add light to the room, and then you could see all the stuff that you missed. And that wouldn't be hard to
Or
program.
have like this room is dark, you can't see anything.
Yeah, like walk into a room and just say pitch black.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
then you die.
You hear noises in the
You fell through a trap
right, so let's get started, because we're a little over on time to get started. So we talked last time, and we're back to Rails right now. So what is an HTML form?
That's what we made last time.
Is it like a style
Oh
sheet?
God, David.
Is it like a style sheet? Or
No, it's not
Or
a
a
style
Rails?
sheet. No, a form. How do we submit data to the server? Through a form. Thank you. Okay.
A way to submit data to the server.
What do you do when someone gives you a form? You fill it out and you turn it in, right? And it's the same concept. That's exactly why the name of it is form. Is because that is what it's for. The user fills it out with some data and submits it for whatever. Okay? So when you submit that, and that's why that action is called submit, okay? When a form is submitted, it goes to the server and it is thrown at the route that's provided, and it's thrown at it with the verb that's provided, the action that's provided, okay? And so remember when we opened up our web page and looked at the HTML, we saw the form tag and it had the method on there and it had the action on there, and we didn't have to write any of that ourselves because we used the ERB builder saying form for, right? Y'all remember that vaguely? We're going to do it again today, so, but this time we're going to do it in a slightly different way. I want to go back over this because we had some issues with it last class period, and hopefully people are more awake this time. What is a route?
It refers to a specific page or aspect of the Rails web page or application.
Okay, that's a good one. What are the different components that make up a resource? We were just talking about some of them.
That would not be.
Don't search your notes. Tell me you know it.
Search your feelings.
That's the ones that have like,
Why would feelings give you information?
create and all that.
A route resource. What's a route resource?
That would be a. This is terrifying. It's all that like the,
You're still looking through your notes.
yeah, bring them up now.
Um,
The pages that you open up, the
No.
views and things like that.
No. A resource is basically an instruction, right? When we say rake routes, that lists out our resources for us. What all information does it list out?
All of the routes that we have available.
Routes, okay. So what makes up a route?
Basically the code or like the methods or functions.
The pathing?
Am I asking this wrong?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I know the answer, so.
Alright, well, hold on, what did you just say?
Pathing?
The path? Okay, alright, so the URL, right?
Yeah.
That's part of it. What's the other part?
What it does.
No.
Coding stuff.
No.
Not the action that it does.
Huh?
It's not the action that it does. One of those 6 actions or whatever.
What are you talking about?
The create and.
No?
Not that.
No?
Wrong.
No? The verb, right?
Yeah.
Get, post, put.
Yeah.
That's part of a route resource. So basically you have the URL, okay? That's the resource, okay? That's the instruction saying where that resource is going. The verb is specifying what you're trying to do with that resource, right? Okay. Now what you were referring to, the actions, okay, index, create, destroy, edit, update, all those are just methods in inside of the controller, right? The controller is an object. The controller is a class, just like any other Ruby class you've made, right? What our resource here does is it takes this instruction and says, okay, if someone points at this URL, okay, with this verb, I know that they're trying to post to the contacts list. So I'm going to map that request to this, the contacts controller, okay? So it instantiates a contacts controller and then calls the create action, okay? So what's this guy, left side of the hash sign?
Controller.
That's the name of the controller. What's the right side of the hash sign? The action, otherwise known as the
Verb.
no. Oh,
Didn't you just say that?
no.
The verb?
The
This
verb's
is
in a
the
whole
verb.
other column.
An action is technically verb, right?
Stop thinking about Rails. What's an action?
What is love?
It's something that does something.
It's something that it's a method.
Yes.
Okay. It is just a method on an object, right?
So that's what you were looking for.
That's what I was looking for. Verb,
Yeah. Action.
action,
Methods.
methods, objects, methods. Okay. This is kind of a universal way of indicating that, oh, I'm looking at this type of object, this method on that object. Okay. Instance methods are always reflected with a hash sign. Static or class methods are reflected with a period. There would be a period here instead. Okay?
Okay, the other day we did this. We made this form. How did we get it to say create contact?
It says create contact right
I
there.
know, but like in the code, we just did submit, right? That's the button that made the.
That's the button. That is the create contact.
Yeah, so where are we telling it that we want it to say create contact?
Oh, we're not. It figures that out automatically. And the way it does that is by a bunch of Rails magic. The black box. And it learns all that information by that guy. Okay? Do you have the project open? You do? Go to the contacts new HTML font. Show the class, because that's a good question.
What the fudge?
I don't know, man.
Remember when you asked if we had it open and you said yes?
Because it just takes a second to open it.
Doesn't seem to be the case.
Normally, I don't know what's going on.
What's happening?
He closed it. For the one time he closed something.
Right?
Now, I might have closed it on accident last time.
Come on, guys.
Just add
That's
folder.
silly. I just do Command O and then just opens it for me.
Command O.
Yes.
Yep, that's it. Alright, so
What file are you using?
app, views, contacts, new. Alright, so if the web server is running, okay, this form comes up on the screen with a button there that says create contact. That's our submit button. Okay? There's the pointer over here. Yeah. What creates that button is this guy right here. F.submit. Okay? We're calling the submit method on our form object that we get from right here. Okay? That creates a submit button for us. Alright? Now, David's question was, well, where are we telling it to say create contact? Because normally you would have to do that in a standard HTML document. Where it's getting all of the information to do that is this right here. Okay? We're saying form 4 at contact. Okay? Ruby is an extremely dynamic language, and Rails takes advantage of that. I'm not gonna go in too deep to this concept because it'll be a rabbit hole for you guys, but there's a term we have called reflection, where a language can actually ask objects questions about the language itself. Alright? And so Rails looks at the instance of that contact object and says, what type are you? What class are you instantiated from? And it gets back contact because it's a member of the big C contact class, right? And it uses that information to try to guess everything it should do. So it says, okay, well, I know I'm on the new action, so because of that, I know I need to create something. What's the name of the class? Oh, it's contact, so I'll set the text to create contact.
How would we change that?
You can change it by adding optional fields here. You can do like comma and provide CSS tags. You can provide custom JavaScript elements. We'll do some of that today just to show you how it's done. Okay. He's pulling up the method for you. So yeah, anytime you have a question, just type it in and look it up because there's tons of documentation about the Rails system. So you can say submit tag. This is slightly different. Okay, this is a form tag. He's still providing the method and a route here. We're doing form 4, so we don't have to do that. But the principle would be the same. You would just provide the string out next to submit. Okay? Alright, so last time where we left off, the very last thing we did was we created ASDF right there, that new user, but we did it through the web browser, right? So now we can at least create contacts in our system, right? So what's the next thing we should probably do?
Have a way to get rid of them or edit them?
Which do you want to do? I can tell you which one's easier. Huh?
Delete?
Delete's pretty easy.
Okay.
Yeah, if it honestly it is. There's nothing wrong with the other one. Let me see if I've got my template over here, my cheat sheet, because I've worked ahead and done all this already. So,
Wow.
all right. So, what's the first thing, David? If I'm going to start deleting stuff that I need to do, I'll give you a starting place. We need to probably identify what route resource we need to design, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what route resource do I need?
Destroy.
That's an action.
Oh.
Close though. He's looking through his notes.
No. I should know this.
We already answered it once today.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it piece by piece. So, what is the what is the route that I'm going to be hitting? Anybody? What's the route that I'm going to be hitting to delete a contact?
Index or
No, that's an action. What's the route? The route, the route URL. What's the URL part of the route? Okay. When you look up in your browser at the URL bar, what would be in there for deleting an item?
The contacts?
Okay, so slash contacts, right? Is that all of it?
No.
What's the rest of it?
That doesn't work. Probably index.
No. What would I be saying if I said contacts index? What does that do? What am I talking about? I'm talking about a set of contacts then, aren't I? I want to delete a single contact, right? So what does my URL need to be?
The number of that contact.
The number of the contact. Good. Okay. So some ID needs to go there, right? What verb do I need to use for this? Anybody? Destroys the action. What's the verb? What's
The one that gets rid of stuff.
Is it patch?
no? That's update. It's delete. Deletes the verb. Okay. So it would be a delete action. Sorry, a delete verb. Man, David's got me all messed up now.
No, it's
It's a delete verb against that URL. Okay. So now we have a starting point. We know what we need to design, right? Now, using our resources command inside of our config routes file, we have an easy out on that. We don't have to design the whole thing. If we were going to, it would be this, okay? And say ID there, okay? And we would send that somewhere to a particular controller and an action. But we've been declaring all the rest of our resources here, so let's just do it here too. Okay? So, what do I need to put here?
Delete.
Destroy, right. The action that's going to be included off of that controller, right? Okay. So what's my next step?
make the destroy.
Well, what I would do is before going on to the next step, I would probably make sure that the route I just added is actually visible to Rails. And it is. It's right here, right?
The whole thing is the route.
That's the route, yep. Think of this part in the center, these two lines, the verb and the URI pattern. That's really the route. The prefix is what Rails calls that route, and this is showing you what it's mapped to. Okay? So, delete contacts with the ID. That's our route. And looking at this list, Rails tells us what we need next, really, right? What do we need next? Contacts destroy. So, I already have a contacts controller, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to go to that controller.
So the ID means it just means one thing, right?
Yes.
Pointing to one.
It's a variable that comes in. Yep. So, inside my contacts controller, what do I need to do?
The delete function. Method. Sorry.
What's it called?
Destroy. No.
Destroy. Yeah.
Someone said delete.
I'm not sure who it was. Yeah, probably. All right. So we have destroy. Okay. What code do I need? Don't look it up. Just, tell me what I'm trying to do here. What am I trying to do?
Delete contact. Or delete contact.
I'm trying to delete the contact, right? What contact am I trying to delete?
The one that, a specific one.
A specific one, right?
Yep.
How do I know which contact?
You're
With
gonna choose
ID.
it.
Huh?
Because you're gonna choose it.
Well, the person, yeah, I'm going to choose it as the user, but in the application, how do I know which one?
You have to accept user input.
Well, the URL is providing that input. If I go to /contact/5 with the delete verb, it knows I'm trying to delete contact with the ID of 5, right? So in here, how do I find that contact with the ID of 5?
Same code as show.
Same code as show. That's right. So I'm going to get the contact by using find, and I'm going to use the ID out of the URL parameters, right? Now, with active record, you know, we've talked about different commands you can use with it to interact with the database. We can save it to persist changes. We can create new ones off of the class, and we can call update to update changes on an existing one. Okay? To destroy one and remove it from the database, we call the destroy method. Okay? So we would call @contact.destroy. And that's going to go to the database and it's going to delete that contact. All right? Now we still need to return something here. We need to respond with something, right?
Like, say that was successful or something.
We could do that, but more specifically, when you go to a let's say you're using a very basic application like this, okay? It does basic CRUD examples. If you delete an item, what do you expect to see after you delete that item? Where does it take you?
To the page.
It takes you back to the main list, right? That's probably a good way to do it, okay? So after this, what we're going to do is we're going to say the same code that we used in create, we're going to redirect to not @contact. The reason we did @contact before is redirect to takes that contact object, looks at its ID, and figures out what route it needs to build to send the person to the view page for that contact. Essentially the show page. What we're doing here is a little bit different, and we already know we want to go back to the contacts index page, right? So looking back here at my rake routes, okay, what do we see here? Huh? Yeah, we have a route for index. That's this guy right here, right? Get contacts. Okay. This right here is what Rails calls that route, right? And it's a prefix, correct? So if I say redirect to contacts, I guess URL path. What?
Are you asking us?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I have no idea.
Okay, well, I thought you'd worked ahead on this, but.
I did the other one, but that was like a week ago.
Oh, okay. So we're going to redirect to URL here, or to contacts URL. All right. Oops. Wow, did you see what I just did?
Why wouldn't you use path?
You could use path, they're interchangeable. I wasn't asking him which one, I was saying either one of them. Yeah. So I'm going to, well, we still have one more piece to really do. We don't have a way of deleting it yet, do we? We kind of need to add that functionality, right?
So there's no real need to do, like, if it was successful, go to there. If not,
What would you do if it wasn't successful?
yeah, give an error,
You could give an error. We haven't talked about error handling yet though, right?
like this contact is undeletable.
This one's invincible. We can do stuff like that, and we're going to talk about some brief error handling today, okay? But right now, either way, you'd probably send them back to the main page, okay? So that's what we're going to do to start with. But we need a button to actually delete this stuff, right? Let me see where I put it on my example here. I think I put it here. Yes, I did. All right. So we're just gonna, for simplicity purposes, we're gonna put it on this page, out next to each item. Each one of these will get their own delete button next to it, and we'll just click delete. That's next to the one we want to get rid of. Pretty simple. It's easy to style up later if you want it to look different. So, how do I do that, somebody? How do I add a button to a route?
Do the same submit function.
We're not submitting a form here.
So it would be a different kind of function, but it would be like the same one.
Well, in your homework, the last Rails assignment we did, we had you link pages back and forth, right? What was the code you used to do that? Link to. Okay, good. So I'm going to go in our index page here, and out next to this guy, let's do this. Let's put this on a new line so that we can see it easier while we're writing it. Okay. We need Ruby code, right? All right. Do I need an equal sign or do I not need an equal sign?
Yes.
I do, right? Why?
You want it to show.
I wanted to put something there. Okay. What was the method I needed to use, David? Link to, right. Okay. Now, the next parameter is what in a link to method? Anybody? It's the string that's going to show up. Let's call it delete, or might as well call it remove or something like that. We could call it whatever.
I know you talked about this before, but there's a difference between double quotes and single quotes.
There is, yeah. In this case, I could use either or. It's just I've been working in a different language all day, and so I'm stuck in double quotes mode. That's all.
Which language is that?
Huh?
Which language is that?
I've been using a lot of Golang today, so anyway, yeah, don't ask. Very different from Ruby. It's anyway. So the difference between single quotes and double quotes is single quotes will be able to build strings and whatnot. Double quotes, though, you can do string interpolation with. Remember, you can do like this and say, if I had a variable name, I could put the name there. The other reason is in double quotes, you can use escape characters like new line characters and whatnot. In single quotes, it doesn't read escape characters, so the actual string that would print to the screen would have a /n in it instead of running the escape character. So what's the next parameter here? Might not know.
Path.
Ish.
It's the URL or whatever the page is on to, right?
No. Not for this time. Not this time. It's not. Okay. Tell me in plain English what we're trying to do here.
Make the button do something.
Okay, different, more plain English. Conceptually, what feature are we trying to implement right now?
The delete button.
What? Okay, if I said I was implementing a delete button, what am I implementing a delete button for?
To delete something.
To delete a contact.
To delete a contact, specifically, right?
But you said
So-
plain English, not
So well, that plain English would be, I'm trying to implement the ability to remove a contact. Okay? So, right here, I'm going to pass the contact, the specific contact, okay, because I'm inside of a loop right here, right? And that's what my variable is up at the top. It's a contact, okay? The next thing I need is I need to specify that I'm using the delete verb, okay? This is the verb that's going to hit the server along with the route. Now, David, when you said we need the URL, the path, you were kind of right. It gets the path, the URL from the contact, because it looks at that contact and says, what's this contact's ID? All right, well, I know that I need to send it to /contacts/ whatever the ID is. So if we inspect the page after this, we'll see that the route that it's actually sending it to is the delete verb with that address. Okay? So let's go ahead and save this and go over to our screen here. There, we have a remove button for each of our contacts. really nice, ugly remove button.
Looks beautiful.
Thank you, Ben.
Don't judge the remove button by its looks.
I'm sorry, I won't. All right,
Yours next to it, mine's under it.
that's a good question. What did you do?
Well,
He says that it loads differently every time like you load it or something like that.
Well,
The page.
it depends. It really depends on your style sheet,
Yeah.
but either way, the formatting's not that big of a deal. But if I go over here and I hover over this link, okay.
You got it outside.
Oh, can't see it.
And I still keep getting this error. I'm not sure why.
Well, let's see if I get it. Nope. Okay, mine went through, so I was able to delete.
You put it in your LI, it puts it next to it.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't put.
Inside your
Oh, you didn't put it in the LI. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I separated my LI like this. I put the top part and the bottom part, and then put them both on separate. So, so I had a, and you know, while I'm here, we don't have a link to create a new one, do we? So we need to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my brackets here. How do we do that, David? You're on a roll today, man.
Have you already done the parentheses equal sign? Oh yeah, link to
What do we want to call it?
new, create.
New, okay.
Comma,
Mm-hmm.
that would take you to,
What does Rails call the path? Look back at your rake routes.
you can't do that while you're on this.
Yeah, I've got it up here. It's fine. What route are we trying to send them to create a new one? That guy, right?
Yeah, so new underscore contact.
New contact, right? So, new contact path right here. Okay.
And that would be the same thing as new contact.
Ben is missing the, I guess the table in his database. Did y'all do that? Did y'all create a migration or did y'all do it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we generated one.
Is that the
Can
same?
can you just like zip that up and send it over?
It's on a repo.
Is it?
It's in the class repo.
You sure?
Remember you pushed it up
no,
last time?
No, it didn't work. What I ended up doing was adding a remote. That folder is not even in the.
Oh, really?
repo. If you can do that, that would work too.
Yeah, I'll do that
Just
right
add
quick.
folder.
Okay, so you said this is not. Well, it's got a repo. Well, if it's under the full class repo, I'll just commit the whole thing right quick. So class cracking code.
I didn't think classwork was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Go to
It's in there.
okay, go to the
Let me commit this first.
page real quick. I'll do it.
This is not found. Did you delete the repo? No?
No, but I might have just added back the wrong remote because I removed a remote and then added one back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But don't do the SSH, do the
That's the problem. You forgot the underscores.
no.
Yeah. Okay.
want it up there. Alright, so he should be able to push now.
So if we get
I don't even
errors,
pull.
we should
Yeah.
use force.
Huh?
Pull one errors.
No.
I'm tired of getting errors.
No. The reason that happened is because I forced a merge conflict on the repo the other week. And you don't want to do that. So, I cheated here. So, alright, let's get back to what we were doing. So I had rake routes up. And we were adding the new contact link. Okay. Right there. Alright, so if I refresh my page now, I have a new and an about us. And let me, I guess,
Does
just
your about us do anything? Because mine isn't here. I don't know why.
yeah, it gives me an error too. That was from some of our earlier test code. I think that, yeah, that was before we redid our routes file to change it to do resources and whatnot. We changed a lot of our route names. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the about us since it's not part of the example. Oops. Get off there. Alright. So if I come in here and I add a new one now. Oh, we added validation, didn't we? Let me take that back out. I forgot about that. I don't remember who asked about validation last time. I think it was our guest, but let me take that out for now. We will be talking about that today, though. So, okay. All right. So one thing we didn't do last time is we have our app redirecting to our show page, right? When one is successfully created. That's fine, but we didn't ever provide a way to get back to our main page from the show page, did we? So how would I do that?
Under probably the show method.
The show method?
The show, the view.
The view, yes, the view. Okay, I could add a link there, right? That way if people wanted to view it, they could. There. And if I wanted to, we don't have much on our show page, right? And it's kind of frustrating when I have to go here and I'll instantly want, let's say for this application, I instantly want to go back to my main page. I don't want to go to the show page as an intermediary. How would I change that?
Like instead I've shown it.
Right. After I create it, I don't want to go to the show page. I want to go back to the main page. How do I change that?
Method.
Which method?
Create method.
Okay, the create method. What do I need to change?
Redirect to
That guy. You'll see him and all this with just take
Right.
the URL.
Because we already know that goes back to the main list. That's what we do here, right? So if I create a new one,
What's your obsession with the blue Jackson Park?
I don't know. Made up the word one day. It stuck.
You just always have, it's
Yep.
everything.
It is. You should see my source code at work. It's all over the place.
All blue jigs.
It's all blue jig spoke. All right, and now we have a remove, right? We can remove them. See? In fact, it happens so quickly it doesn't even look like we leave the page, does it?
Yeah.
But it's actually refreshing.
Can we make a bubble pop up that says, "Are you sure?" Or is that not?
I'm sure you have a syllabus.
You did do this part, didn't you?
I think what that was a part of it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember.
On exercise 5.
Uh-huh, yeah. But yes, I was just about to suggest, why don't we confirm the fact that we're about to remove this? So, on our index page, how would I do that? How would I get this guy to confirm whether or not I actually want to take this action?
Data. Cool.
Whoa, where did that come from?
I don't know.
All right. But yes, data. Okay. Data is a what? It's a hash, right?
Because the colon is to the right of it. It's not a symbol.
Oh, it is a symbol.
But
But it's a symbol as a key in a hash, right? Okay. So, what do I do now?
Confirm.
Confirm.
Colon. You sure?
All right. That wasn't too bad, right? So if I come here and I refresh the page, we're going to say, oh, are you sure? And no, I'm not. Are you sure? Okay. See? So confirmations are pretty easy. Little one-liner confirmations like
You can
that.
just put that in that line after delete. Is that what you put?
I put it right there. So after the delete,
So you
I did
could
comma.
run a new line, but there's no need to.
There's no need to, no.
So what does that HTML look like? Did you inspect?
HTML actually that it generates looks like this. Oh, well let me open up the full sheet because this is kind of a small screen, isn't it? How do I close this guy, John?
I think it's off the screen.
Huh?
The close button is off the screen.
Oh God.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. I was like, oh man, he's customized his. Alright, so this is what it looks like.
I didn't know you could specify data method in an anchor tag.
Oh, that's part of Rails magicness.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can specify data in it, but what
Yeah, you
makes
can't say do
data
it, don't you?
confirm,
Right.
right? It's saying, oh, this is a confirmation. It won't actually do anything magical for you. It's just part of the data standard. So.
So
Anyway.
when you click on that link, it actually does a delete request to that route, or does it get to the?
It doesn't do a delete, a get. It does an actual delete.
Okay.
Yeah, it wraps that up and says, oh, I want to perform a delete action against the server. Does a lot of heavy lifting for you.
Yeah.
The same happens with our updates and stuff too. Speaking of updates, how do I implement update?
Someone other than David.
Someone other than David, please. Nick, Ben, Christy,
Agree with that.
Deborah.
What was the question?
I said, how would I go about implementing an update?
You mean,
Can you go back to the context
you
controller
mean
file?
just, you put a new,
Sorry, what?
Can you go to the context controller file?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you mean just, to change a specific contact or?
Yeah, to change this. So we're editing a contact. What do I need to do?
You would do a patch on, the contact route? Or?
Okay, I would do a patch or put on the contact route, right? Depending on what I needed to do. Still not going to explain the difference between those two right now, but know they're both update. Okay. So I need to do that, right? So you kind of identified the verb, correct? What's the rest of the route? The verb is either patch or put. What is the rest of the route for updating a contact? Everyone looks
It would be the
confused. We
action, right?
just did this.
I'm just not answering.
Okay.
Nice excuse.
Remember rake routes? What?
Oh,
Okay. Look at this list.
it would be would it be the action or?
It wouldn't be the action. You identified the verb, right? We're still missing this part. Which form of the URI pattern do I need there? Christy?
It's like contacts, the ID.
Right. So I'm trying to update a specific contact, right? So I need to provide the ID for that contact in the route. So in my routes here, it would look like this, right? And I would point that at some controller, okay? And that's exactly what doing this does. Okay, now that's my update action, right? That's the put, that's the patch, that's what actually performs the update. But I also need a route that gets me to where I can fill in the information to do that, don't I? What other route do I need? I need to edit, right? Because that brings that is a get, and that brings me to the edit page, right? So that I can fill in the information, and then when I submit the form, that update action is called and occurs. Okay, so let's look at our rake route since we added that. Okay, so we have our patch and put combination right here. Both of them map to contacts update. Okay, and we have our get that takes us to our edit screen once again for a specific contact. Okay, so contacts /ID /edit. I'm editing a single contact. I'm editing that one contact. Okay, and that maps to the edit method on the contacts controller. So we need to add 2 actions to our controller, right?
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
do it.
freaking out saying the controller isn't there.
Right. So we need to start with one of them. Which one do you think we ought to start with?
Edit.
Edit. Probably a good call. We want to see the page we're trying to work with, right? So let's go to our contacts controller, and what do I need to do here?
Edit.
Okay. Do I need to put anything in there?
Don't have to, but most likely yes.
Most likely, don't have to.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Here we don't have to. Okay. So, the reason why is because right now we're just trying to get a page up, right? Now, when we start binding data to it, we'll have to come back and add something to it. But
Yeah.
just to get a page up, you don't have to have anything in there, do you? Okay. So, I need a view though, right?
Yeah.
What view do I need to add?
Would be an HTML ERB file.
Yes, it would. What's the name of it?
Uh,
I'll give you a hint.
edit page. page.
Right, it's got to match that name, right? Yeah. Always has to match that name. Okay. All right. Now, let's say I wanted to visit that page. I could. Nothing there, but I could, right? Maybe just so that we can see we're there. Okay. So we're there. Okay. It's not a broken page. It's just an empty page. So that's a decent start. Now I can start doing the heavy lifting for this. Now, what did I do in the new page, or new action rather, that I have to do here again? Okay. I had to have a contact ready that the page could build a form for, right? Well, last time what I did is I created a new contact, didn't I? If you look at your new action inside your controller, we created a brand new one because, well, it was a brand new one, wasn't it? Here it's not. Here it's an existing one. So what code do I need to put in here?
Can you go to the edit file real quick?
Yeah. All that's in there is that I'm about to delete this.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't have to worry about what's in there.
Would you need to direct it to the HTML, the HTML.rb file?
No, remember it does that automatically based off of the convention of the name. David, do you know? What is it, David?
I think you need the contact equals contact.find.
I gotta find the contact, right? Are we good?
I think there's some more. Wouldn't you need a way to, no? You wouldn't need a
We're
way
good.
to like save it?
You're trying to show it.
We're not trying to save it.
Okay.
Remember, that's the job of the update action.
Yeah.
Okay, so right here, we're good. Now, what do I need in here? What do I need in the edit screen?
You need access to the original contacts page.
Do I what now?
Do you need access to the original contacts page? Do you need to display it?
I don't need to display the original contacts page. I could put a link that could take me back there though if I decided not to edit something. But more specifically, I'm trying to update something, right? I need the form. I gotta have a form for this so that I can write down the changes that I want to make to the data and send it off, right? So I'm going to start by putting a header up here that just says what it is. This is edit contact. Okay. And I'll put a horizontal rule here because they look horrible. They do. But I've already written this form code once, haven't I? So if I go into the new file here, I can just copy all this and put that right here, right at the bottom. Right? Okay. Now if I refresh, there we go. And notice the current information is automatically already filled in on these labels because I data bound the object to the screen. Okay. But you're right. We probably need a way to back out of this if we cancel, right? Otherwise get it. We wouldn't give people much option. You know, like, oh man, I clicked the wrong contact. Oh God, this is my boss's account. Oh God, he's gonna kill me.
I've got to change it.
It won't let me not change it. So let's just add a quick link here down at the bottom. I think we said back to main on our other screen, so let's just call it the same thing. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks horrible enough. So I'll put a break there. How many breaks do I need? 2? 2 breaks? Minimum of 2 always? Is that what the rule is? Good rule. Don't ever do this. Okay. The only reason I'm using break tags is because I don't feel like writing CSS right now, because I don't want to waste your time with that. Break tags are actually kind of frowned upon a lot in larger web application development now, because you're imposing style using your HTML when style should be the job of the CSS. There's ways in CSS of saying, okay, well, this needs to go on another line, or put this much space between stuff. You shouldn't use break tags to do it. So I can go back to main now. So let's create one that I want to edit. So let's just make up one here. I misspelled ASDF. Whew. All right. Well, I need a route to get to the edit page. What do I need to do, Nick?
What's the question?
Said I need a route to take me from here to the edit page for a specific item, right? What do I need to do here?
You need to put a link.
I need to put a link. What link do I need?
It wouldn't be the local host URL, would it?
No. All of these get the primary path of the URL, like the localhost :3000. It has that automatically. The difference is everything after that first slash, contacts, whatever, right? So what I need to do is I need to go in here and go to my index page, and I already have one link here. And just before the remove, I'm going to add another link because I'm malicious.
Dang.
So I'm going to say link to, and we're just going to call it edit. Now, unfortunately, I can't just say contact here and say, oh, well, it knows I need to edit that guy. The reason why is because it's going to say, okay, we'll link to the contact, and that'll take me to the show page. I don't want that. So Rails has a special built-in method for you called edit contact path. Why does it have this special built-in method for me? Somebody say rake routes. Rake routes, right.
Whoa.
Okay.
Good at this.
This guy right here, right? When I define this route, it built this prefix for me, and I'm saying edit contact path. That returns me the path, but it also takes in a parameter, the contact that I want it to use. Okay? So if I come back here, I've wrapped this guy up so it's the parameter for that method call, and I don't need to do anything else. It's a get action. I don't have to specify a special verb or anything like that. I just want to go to the edit screen. Okay? So, oops, wrong screen. If I refresh, I now have an edit button there. Okay? So, if I click one of these guys, hey, there we go.
I'm getting out.
And look at the URL up at the top. Contacts 8 edit. Okay? That was our get, right? We got the edit page for a single contact. Our information's automatically filled in for us. And we can change this information, hit update account, and our application will now explode. Well, that's wonderful. Why will it explode? don't do it and then say, oh, this is why. Why will it explode?
Is it not saving the edit?
We don't have an update method yet.
Yeah, so it's not actually changing it. And
Right. It's trying to call that route to submit the form, and it's like, I don't know how to do that.
It's like, what?
Yeah. So if I change something here and I just go update contact, that's a technical term. Okay? Is a technical term. All right? It means all of the things have happened and all of them were bad. Okay? So it tells us what we need to do though. Action update cannot be found for the contacts controller. So I need to go do that. So I'm going to just put an update action here. Now what code do I need for this guy? Anybody can answer me.
Code. Well, it's a specific context, or don't you need that same contact equals contact find?
Right, I got to find it, right? So okay, there, I found it. Now what do I do with it?
You have to save it.
Okay, I could save it. I could do that. But what did I just do? There's a reason why I'm pausing here. This isn't a trick question. Okay? I just submitted a form. Okay? Let's look at the differences here for a second. We're going to spend a second here talking about this because this is important. Let's look back at our create action. What did I do here? Here on the new page, I created a new contact and bootstrapped it to the page. And that was a contact I could use for the form, right? When I submitted the form though, what happened?
Check those.
It turned it into these parameters down here, right? Okay. It came in parameters. I then had to take those parameters and put them inside of a new contact. And then I saved that contact. Okay? Here, I'm trying to update a specific contact. So I do want to find the one that exists. Right? But the one that I just found doesn't have the changes. It's the original one. Right? Now, I can't just build a new contact and give it all the parameters like I did here, because, well, that would create a new contact. That wouldn't update my existing one. Does everybody see that? Okay. So I'm going to reuse this method to get these parameters out here because we don't have any parameters that we want to keep out of the system on specifically update or create. We can use all three of them safely for both actions. So what I'm going to do is instead of calling save on a new contact, I'm going to just call update. All right, and I'm going to pass, what is it called? Save contact parameters. Save contact parameters to that guy. So the save contact parameters is the hash of updates. Okay? It's the new first name, it's the new last name, it's the new email. Okay? Whatever changed. Alright? And I'm going to update the existing contact with that information. Now this could fail, this could succeed, right? Okay? So I need to do more here. What do I need to do? If statement. Right.
Or some sort of.
No, you were right. If statement. What kind of if statement?
Probably a similar one to the create one.
A very similar one. What do I need to write?
If that is successful.
Let's work it out together. What do I want to do if it's successful? Let's solve that problem first. If it's successful, what do I want to do?
Change that contact.
It's changing. That's my check.
Oh.
I'm saying if the update is
Oh,
successful.
Okay, yeah, go to the list.
Okay, go to the main list. How do I do that?
Redirect to
Redirect to.
contacts _ URL.
Okay. Now, that's the easy part. Here's the second easy part.
I like to hear that.
What do I do if it fails?
Then then redirect to contact the URL.
No, don't let it move.
Don't let it move. Don't let it move. Okay? So, how do I not let it move?
Render.
We're just going to stay on edit, right? Yeah. We're just going to stay there. Okay? We're going to re-render the edit view.
Maybe go back to the index.
I don't think I can. It's tough.
Or for more. I see it.
Mm-hmm.
You need it. That if statement needs its own end.
Yes, it does. I'm sorry, were you not done with that, John?
There you go.
Everybody good? Okay. So now I should be able to submit my my update, right? So let's go back to our main page here, okay? And I'm gonna hit edit on this guy, and I'm gonna change its information.
You know what you want, right? So you didn't have to build. Is that a Chrome thing? Is that a form filler? Is that a Chrome thing? Whenever you type BlueJixBug, it brought the little.
Oh, that's a Chrome thing, yeah. The automatic drop down list that says, oh, I think I know what you're trying to type. Yeah. What Chrome does, and other browsers do that too, is that actually happens because this is a form. You remember, these browsers just parse and read HTML. These fields are inside of a form tag. And it looks at the label and says, oh, I'm inside a form. It's asking for a first name. I've had to do this before. Let me give it some options that you entered last time. Browsers are tricky that way.
Well, that it can take, like when you do an address, it's like multiple forms.
Yeah.
And it can fill all that in.
And the reason why it can do that is because of this. We inspect the stuff. It's because of, let's look at this one. Okay. It scrapes that information. Have you heard the term screen scraping before? Okay. It looks for fields that match the convention of using something like first name. Okay? And it remembers, oh, you've done first name before. That's why, have you ever gone to okay, so you mentioned, okay, it's pretty cool that addresses, it'll do that and it'll fill in multiple fields for you. Have you ever done one where it didn't fill in the zip code? There's a zip code field there, but it missed it. It didn't do it. Well, the reason why is because they probably, instead of saying zip code, all they said was zip. Or they had zip code as 2 words, or as 1 word. That kind of thing. And it's only looking for certain stuff that it remembers. So here, we're about to update our contact. And there we go. Pretty easy. We just wrote a full stack. Now it's a simple stack. There's no validation on it. Okay. I could type in just BlueJixBug for the email and it would take that. But that's bad. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do validation. All right. And then we're going to take a break and we'll come back and work on the game. Okay. Validation is kind of the last piece to this. We'll talk about showing errors on the screen next time because there's like 50 different ways to do that. But validation in Rails predominantly is done, where do you think? At the view layer, the controller layer, or the model layer?
Sorry, what was the question?
Validation is done where in Rails? In the view layer, the controller layer, or the model layer?
We talked about the model. No.
Do I?
We haven't really talked about the model or been in the model folder much.
Was the model just the machine or?
No, our contact model.
Oh.
It's our class, right? It's our contact class. Remember this guy?
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's where our big C contact's been coming from.
remember me.
Yeah.
Probably not there.
Well, then you would be wrong.
Man, I was gonna, my gut told me there.
Well, it's because one of the reasons why Rails does it here is because this is the closest to the data you can get, is the model in Rails, okay? Standardly, all right? Now, there's a lot of debate on whether or not validation should actually be done on the active record model or not. Rails doesn't really give you an option. It's going to happen here or you don't do validation, all right? My personal belief is that it shouldn't happen here. Because, and we'll talk about it some other time, my reasoning behind that, but everywhere you look up Rails documentation, it's going to have validation happening here. So we're going to put it there for this example, okay? So, I'm wanting to make a contact here. Let's say that if I added a contact that didn't have a first name and a last name, it wasn't very valuable to me, okay? So I want to require that they have a first name and a last name, okay? So I'm going to use some built-in methods that come with active record, okay? Well, I say come with active record, come with a gem that's included by active record. Validates presence of. I can say validates presence of and provide a symbol matching the attribute that I want it to validate, and it will not let me save that model if that first name is blank. I can't update, I can't create, I can't change it at all.
So that validate presence of basically checks like if
Is it,
parameter is blank.
if the parameter is blank, then don't let it save it to the database. Provide an error. It will even build the error message for you to tell you that, oh, a first name is required. Okay? That's why they emphasize so much in Rails you want to name your attributes what they really are, because that's what the default message would throw back onto the screen. So I also want to do this for last name, right? Two choices. I could add it on its own line, like that, or I could just do comma last name. Okay? That's just shorter, so I'd probably do it that way. Okay? Now, if I come back to my application here, I said new, and I'll just try to create the contact, it won't let me. It redirects me back to the same page. Okay? Now, we don't see the errors happening there. They are okay. David, how do I show them on the screen?
Oh man, hold on, let me cheat.
I like how he's just like, oh man, all right, let me cheat on this one.
Comma,
Sounds so sad.
Comma?
data, or data,
Comma and what?
oh where?
Where? Where am I writing this code?
In the contacts
Put commas
controller.
everywhere.
In the contacts controller? Where at?
Would it be under the else? Sorry, the new, the create else?
No. Why wouldn't it be? You might not have dug into the homework enough to know this yet, so I'll go ahead and just explain it so we can go ahead and wrap up and take our break, okay? Inside of our form here, I'm going to do something, okay? I'm just going to copy this down. So I can write Ruby code. I should have made this application for contact. I'm trying to pull from an old project, sorry. So contact.errors.any.
Yeah, I did do this.
You did do this? Okay.
But we did in the example, there was a form page.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
I guess it looks like it builds the form in CSS.
Well, no, it doesn't. But it does, but it doesn't. We'll talk about it next week. Okay. That's partials. Okay. Has the tutorial covered partials yet?
It may have mentioned them, but
May have mentioned? Okay.
it doesn't ring a bell. So.
Okay. Maybe it has not. So let's fill this in, and then we'll stop for a break. Okay. So I'm just making a div with an ID there, and I'm going to put some tags here, and I'm going to just write some Ruby code that lists out all of the errors. I think this is the standard method they give with that example, or the standard text they give with that example. Is it? Okay. That way you'll have something to reference by. Okay. Oops. Lost focus. Alright. And we're going to make an unordered list here for each of our error messages. And inside here, I'm going to do a loop over all of the errors. I'm going to request full messages for the errors. And I'm going to print out the message there in line. Okay. So now if I go create one, and I'll say create contact without errors, I get that.
Go back to the new HTML file.
And we'll stop here and take a break for today.
Take a look at his edits.
Yeah.
Form.
The edit form should be the exact same as the new one. I guess I could just save this and push it up so y'all can have it, huh? Do you want me to do that?
What?
Let me do that.
Yeah, but I still want to know what's wrong.
Oh, I know. Okay. Ooh.
That's what I'm saying, it's undefined because you're using contact in the middle of it. And you have contact in the regular page. Never mind.
It's fixed. Cool. page? Yeah, put that back on the same one.
Yeah, just returned it for some reason.
And the next thing too. Okay. Save that. And go. Change your URL and go to your main page. Yep. See, it's actually working. The redirect's just not working, alright? Yeah, open up your controller. Contact controller. New. Okay, that's right. Oh, you're redirecting to contact on that, which is the show page. So go to your show page. I bet we've got an error in there. Let's go to show. Yeah, you forgot your closing thing on here.
It's not dark yet.
So,
And save that page.
should this be contacts or contact?
Contact. Same thing. Okay. Now do it. Oh man. Open the door back up.
Pardon me. Whew.
Coffee's this way if you're looking for it.
I make fresh mugs.
He's doing good.
Yeah. Doing well.
He's doing good for someone who hasn't done it before.
Okay. Vince.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Okay, right.
Ooh. Almost ran into it.
Oh shoot. It's supposed to walk outside.
I'm so sorry, y'all moved out. I'm like, hey, why did we open this back out? He's like, I don't know, so I closed it. I didn't know anybody walked outside, so.
Let's go get my notes. I'm horrible with that mouse pad.
Yeah, they're set up weird on those Macs.
So what we're doing is specifically the character creation aspect.
Yep.
Okay.
You were partnered with Deborah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you see her message in Slack?
I did.
I don't know if she's,
She said that,
She
but
done?
I just wrote something and I'll put it on Slack for people to read. And it was just a few ideas that I had.
Oh, man.
so it doesn't have to be like gender, if she doesn't want it to be gender, I don't care, but they need some attributes is all
But yeah,
we're saying, so.
I'll put it on Slack right now, you guys can read it.
Okay,
Just let me copy and paste.
What is it?
we're talking about the character creation,
Oh, cool.
how we just want them to have attributes.
Different
It doesn't
attribute
really
ideas,
matter what
yeah.
they are, but,
Okay, I'll put it in,
well, it does, but.
Well, it's gonna have to have like some, well, I mean, an easy one, low hanging fruit would be a description. And, I mean, you could go wild with it, because even if you go wild with it, it's repeating the same thing over and over and over, and it doesn't
Yeah.
really add to the difficulty in it.
okay, I put it on Slack.
Why don't we go ahead and bring up Slack and talk about the discussions we've had today on it? On the right team, dang it. Man.
What the fudge, man?
God.
Like I'm clicking and nothing's happening.
Oh, did we
'Cause
forget
it's
to
still
stop the
on.
recording?
We did, but you